take the time to acknowledge the other 19 million veterans that our country is home to. Their sacrifice deserves the utmost respect. And on behalf of the entire student body, I would now like to take this opportunity to individually thank each and every veteran here with us today for exhibiting the highest level of dedication to our country. Please stand to be recognized when your name is called. Mark Andrews, U.S. Air Force. Jim Belanger, U.S. Navy. Zachary Buffington, U.S. Army. Greg Darbone, U.S. Army. Arlene Darbone, U.S. Army. Bob Delia, U.S. Army. Houston Galloway, U.S. Air Force. Robert Glover, U.S. Air Force. George Lusick, Jr., U.S. Army. Chris Lucier, U.S. Air Force. Pat McQuinn, U.S. Army. Bruce Moran, U.S. Army. Russell Norris, U.S. Marines. Bill Ponders, U.S. Air Force. Paul Price, U.S. Army. David Sanborn, U.S. Army. Kevin Walton, U.S. Air Force. Beth Williams, U.S. Army. And our staff members, Ms. Saunders, U.S. Army. Mr. Rogers, U.S. Army. And Mr. Thompson, Army and Air Force. Now, our concert band, under the direction of Mr. Hazard, will entertain us with their rendition of America the Beautiful by Erringer Warren Baker. Thank you, concert band. Welcome everyone to the 2021 Veterans Day Assembly. Our guest speaker today is Mr. Russ Norris. Mr. Norris enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1988 and was promoted to the rank of Staff Sergeant in 1996. In 1997, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant and retired at the rank of Major in 2011. During his service, Major Norris was assigned to the Arabian Peninsula Branch Chief, U.S. Central Command in Tampa, Florida. During this time, he worked at many of the U.S. embassies throughout the Middle East and Northern Africa and was deployed to Operation Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Somalia, and Afghanistan. Following his retirement from the military in 2011, Mr. Norris accepted a position with a defense contractor, and in 2018, Major Norris took a position with Rivier University, where he serves as the Director of Security Studies. Thank you, Mr. Norris.
All right. So seeing that I'm getting a little older, I'll find my glasses. There we go, men of a certain age. All right. Oh, as you were. So first I want to thank Superintendent Corey, Principal Garzone, Mr. Roulette, and the rest of the faculty and staff at Hollis Brookline High School for having us here today. I appreciate the special relationship between veterans in our community and the Hollis Brookline schools. As the commander of the VFW for the state of New Hampshire, I travel the state pretty extensively, and we're involved in numerous programs across communities. Perhaps you've heard of them, the Voice of Democracy Scholarship Program, the Patriots Pen Scholarship Program, Teacher of the Year Program, several things where we get involved with America's youth and Americanism. And I gotta tell you, the relationship with this school, the school district, SAU 41 and its veterans, is truly unique. And unfortunately, I don't see that a lot around the state. So again, I want to thank you all for having us here today, especially AP Civics. Thank you for having us in as well. So first off, I know we've already thanked the veterans, but again, if you're a veteran in the building today, I want to thank you for your service. We've already recognized the faculty members, but I want to recognize people who sometimes get passed over. If you're a child of a military veteran, a child of a military family, please stand up. Please stand up. Hoorah. All right. Thank you. Thank you. As military members, we take oaths, we get trained, we go do certain things in certain places to certain people, all right? Families didn't really sign up for that, all right? When I married my wife, we didn't have 3 children. My 3 children didn't sign up for that, but they were born into it. And there were years where I was gone an entire year, literally gone an entire year, whether that be on a combat deployment or whether that be in training deployment. So you understand how veterans tend to get burned out over time, but it truly is the families that are back here, the single moms, the single fathers that are back here running the household, making sure the kids are dressed, fed, educated, get to cheerleading, get to football, get to volleyball, get to all those practices, get to band, all right? There's so many different things that the families have to do back here. And we could not do what we do without that strong support network back home that allows us to go forward with a clean conscience and a clean mind and do what we need to do. So thank you very much. Secondly, Vietnam veterans, if you could, if you're able to, can I ask the Vietnam veterans to stand? Vietnam veterans. Yep. So for Vietnam veterans, I especially want to give you a welcome home and thank you for your service. Thank you. Yeah. And being that I'm a man of a certain age, I actually had to put in my speech in brackets. It says explain why. All right. So if you study your history, you'll know that veterans have not always been treated that well, especially our generation of Vietnam veterans, who most did not volunteer to go forward. Most were drafted. They were conscripted by our United States government to go forward on our behalf. And when they came back, the political winds has shifted so dramatically that our Vietnam veterans were not properly welcomed home. In fact, they were shunned. All right? So if you haven't learned that in your history lessons, hopefully you'll go back and remediate it a little bit on how we treat our veterans, especially those Vietnam veterans who deserve, if you see a Vietnam veteran, you see the shirt, you see the hat, shake their hand and welcome them home because they didn't get that when they came back. All right? So thank you again. So let's start by having a little bit of fun. All right, I think I was already tipped off that the seniors are in the middle. So where are the juniors at? If you're a junior, stand up. Come on, stand up if you're a junior. Awesome. Get your elbow off your chin. There you go, stand up. Good. Now, in the Marine Corps, every service has its kind of saying. And in the Marine Corps, we say, oorah. So you guys, as loud as you can, give me an oorah. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oorah! Come on. Weak. Weak. All right. Juniors, sit down. Seniors, your turn. So juniors, you got the Marine Corps. All right, seniors. So for seniors, the United States Army, their saying is hooah. All right? So on the count of 3, give me a big loud hooah. 1, 2, 3. Hooah! That's what I'm talking about. See? See? The recruiter and the sergeant major almost blacked out. That was awesome. Awesome. So I know freshmen and sophomores probably aren't in this room, but if there are any, stand up. And I know they're in their classrooms and they're watching me, hopefully on that camera. Good. Here comes your turn, freshmen and sophomores. So in the Navy, they have a different saying. It's hooah, or as you were, hoo-yah, hoo-yah. Did I get that right? Jim's looking at me like I'm crazy. It is. All right. So on the count of 3, wherever you are in your classrooms, in the halls, along the walls, if you're a freshman or a sophomore, give me a hoo-yah. 1, 2, 3. Oh, weak. Weak. All right. So, hey, good job, freshmen and sophomores. I couldn't really hear you, so work on that. We'll circle back around to that. All right, so let's talk about Veterans Day. Is everybody awake? Everybody good? You got your blood pumping? Seniors, you own the house again? Awesome. It's good to be the king. All right. So let's talk about Veterans Day. On the 11th hour of the 11th day on the 11th month, we come together to celebrate those who served and defend our great nation. It originally started off as a recognition of the end of World War I, and it was called Armistice Day. And that happened in 1911, a year after World War I ended. The recognition changed to Veterans Day under President Eisenhower. And today we celebrate the service of all veterans on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. So who is a veteran and why do we celebrate them? A veteran is anyone that has served in our armed forces. But they are much more than that. They are our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters, and our grandparents. They are our school administrators. They are our teachers. They are our coaches. They are our nurses. And where's Mike? They are our trainers. All right? Veterans are all, as you were. Beyond that, there are police officers, our firemen, our EMTs, our community leaders, such as our scoutmasters, our board members, and our business owners. Veterans are all around us in our community. Did you know our own police chief, Joe Hobecki, is a veteran? That's right, he's a soldier. So when you see Chief, give him a handshake and give him a happy Veterans Day. So what makes a veteran special? Well, I think it's as simple as a spirit that says, send me. It's something inside people that yearns to serve their fellow man. When our country and our American values are under attack, we say, send me. When others around the world are suffering under brutal repression or needing rescue from unfathomable disasters and sorrow, we say, "Send me." While others cower in fear, paralyzed by indecision, or look for better citizens to defend them, we say, "Send me." I want to tell you a story. Rob O'Neill. Does everybody know who Rob O'Neill was? Navy SEAL Dev Group guy. SEAL Team 6 may or may not exist, right? He's a Dev Group guy. And he's the gentleman that got rid of Osama bin Laden. And he relays a story as they were gearing up to go out on this mission. And another Dev Group guy approached him and said, "Look, don't get me wrong, I'm going. But if we know it's a one-way mission, why are we going?" Right? And Rob O'Neill said, "It's a very simple thing. On September the 11th, a single mother dropped her kids off at daycare, drove to work in the Twin Towers, and just started her day at work. She had no idea that her day was going to go very bad for her. We are fighting because they are not combatants. We fight for you. We fight for those that can't fight. All right? There was no reason that should have happened." And Rob O'Neill said, "That's why we do what we do." And he's like, "Roger that. I got it." He just wanted to say it out loud, and he heard it, and they executed the mission. It was very successful. There's a video that I actually wrote in, and hopefully you have all seen it. Raise your hand if you've ever seen Admiral Bill McRaven. Have you ever seen Bill McRaven's speech in 2014 about make your bed? Hopefully you raise your hand if you've seen it. If you have not, I know you have these little things attached to your faces at all times. All right, it has a search function. Open it, go to YouTube, and type in Bill McRaven, make your bed. It's an outstanding speech. At the university, I show it to every one of my classes at the beginning of every semester. So by the time they're seniors, it's ingrained. They got it, all right? The big takeaway is if you can't do the small things, you're never going to be able to do the big things, all right? Watch that speech. He gives it at the University of Texas in 2014. It's an amazing speech about things to do in life. Stand up to the bullies. Find someone to help you go through life, all right? Do anything like you do everything. So if you haven't, Google that. Article 1 of the U.S. Code of Conduct states that I am an American, fighting in the forces which guard my country and our way of life. I'm proud to give my life in their defense. Every service member, regardless of branch of service, swears by this oath. Whether you're a MARSOC Raider, a Navy cook, an Air Force dental technician, or an Army Ranger, you all have a singular mission: to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Whatever the reason, Americans have always risen to answer the call for service and sacrifice to our republic. It is in our spirit to serve each other and do whatever is necessary to preserve the freedoms enshrined in our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. There's a poem that I want you to remember. It is the soldier, not the reporter, that gives us the freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, that gives us the freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, that has given us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier, not the lawyer, that has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the soldier who salutes the flag and serves under the flag with honor and pride. Remember that you only have the rights that you're willing to fight for, all right? Finally, veterans are persons who does not accept mediocrity, reflect a refined sense of self and purpose, who do not ask what our country can do for them, but what they can do for their country. They do not tire, they do not falter, they do not fail. They serve knowing that their sacrifices may never be seen or recognized. The last stanza of the Ranger Creed captures this best. Readily will I display the intestinal fortitude required to fight on to the Ranger objective and complete the mission, though I be the lone survivor. So this Thursday, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, please honor a moment of silence as an offering of thankful reflection to the service members that, especially today, have stood to watch, have returned with honor, who stand ready to defend America against her enemies, and continue to serve across our great country. May God bless and protect you. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Norris. Before we dismiss, on behalf of Hollis Brookline High School's students and staff, I would like to offer our sincerest thank you to our local veterans, to all veterans who have served, and those who continue to serve today. Thank you. This concludes our Veterans Day Assembly. We ask juniors report to your home base cab blocks. There are about 15 minutes left. So juniors, you're going to dismiss first. You guys can come down off the bleachers, head to your home base cab blocks. Seniors, you have about 15 minutes after they dismiss, and you can report to the cafeteria or the library. Thank you.